Hello, guys. Come on in. Come on in. I'm by myself right now, just for the first show. The second show, I definitely will not be by myself. So, welcome. Come in. Very, very important topic tonight. And give you another couple seconds to get in, and I'm going to tell you why it's an important topic. So, first off, let me just say that we're going to, for sure, have a moderator on, and here's why. Since we started reporting on grooming in the classroom, we have had a weird coalition of strippers, boudoir photographers, convicted felons, professional orgy organizers, let's see, sex workers, and union teachers who have formed a coalition, who have started being extremely rude on our Facebook page, private messages, and others. So we don't know what kind of comments that we're going to get tonight. We can't imagine they're going to be great. But we're going to play a little game. Okay. I'm not going to show all the comments. I may not show any. I might show one every now and then. And when I do, you're going to have to guess which one am I talking about? Because we know them all by now. So which one out of all, and school psychologist, forgot to tell you, which one out of one. So we're just keeping it fun. So we're going to talk tonight about how to file in good faith an ethics complaint against teachers. Now, you guys, most of you guys will never need to have this, because not all teachers run afoul of ethics. Not even most teachers, but some do. For instance, tonight, about 15 minutes ago in Wake County here, it's the second largest school district in the country, an NCAE leader, also a teacher, got thrown out by the police of a school board meeting for saying "F you a-holes" to a parent. So in other words, there are some teachers that are inappropriate. And that's why I'm doing this, because since we started reporting on school grooming, we have gotten a tremendous amount of hate. And when we look up, when we research who these folks are, a lot of them are teachers. I'm going to give you a couple of examples here. Okay. So this is a teacher. This is an NCAE union teacher saying that she's going to report us, our Facebook page, because she doesn't like what we are saying. So you can imagine, if this particular teacher is trying to censor us here, what's going on in the classroom? What's going on when she's with these kids 8 hours a day? If she doesn't like their idea, is she going to punish them? We just don't know, right? We just don't know. And so that's the point here, is that if something inappropriate is going on, you're going to have the resources to kind of deal with that. Let me see if I can show you a couple more, because we didn't just develop this idea without being prompted. We've been through a lot over the last little bit. Now, this is a teacher, 8th grade math teacher in Asheville, who says, "We doxy citizens and go ham." Had to look up what going ham was, but it meant in an extremely overwhelmingly aggressive fashion. Let's target these parents because it's past time. Doxing, it can mean a lot of things, but it generally means giving personal information that's not readily available on the web. Generally, it's a phone number, or it's an address or something like that. But that in concert with going very aggressive on parents because it's past time, that's very concerning. Now, the reason why our team got this idea is we already reported that teacher, as you can imagine. Can you imagine him getting pissed off at a parent and doxing them and going ham on them? I mean, who talks this way? And by the way, what has created overwhelming amount of anger from teachers to us is that we screenshot these posts and they accuse us of hate speech. It's their own words. It's their own words, and they're advocating hate speech. Let me show you a couple more. I'm just building the case for the need to do this. I believe this is a teacher. Children aren't property. They're autonomous human beings, and every child has the right to be safe Parents aren't supposed to be dictators. Children are going to learn about sex. That's a fact. Providing proper education ensures they learn about it correctly. I'm having a hard time understanding your outrage. The outrage was, Christy, the outrage was there are now 3 school districts that have a plan to, number one, encourage transgenderism. And then number 2, when they finally brainwash the kids enough to consider changing their gender, they keep that a secret from the parents. Not most teachers, not all teachers, maybe not even some teachers, but it is being done. It is an open plan. That's why we're outraged. It's absolutely insane that some teachers believe that our children are their property. And that is why, again, that underscores the need here to make sure that, well, you know, we're kind of able to take power back. Now, here's a dandy. We have one school district, that is New Hanover School District. You probably heard me on either Steve Bannon talking about it or on Newsmax or somewhere talking about it. That at that time, that was 2 weeks ago. That was the second transgender plan that we found, which again, not only keeps this behind parents' back, you guys, the plan provides for finding a support adult that would take care of a child while they transition. This particular school district over the last decade has had 30 rapes, 13 teachers either fired, got arrested, something for sexually abusing children over the past decade. And if you think that we're going to allow this school to, behind the scenes, condition a child and take that child away from your parent, you got another damn thing coming. So we said, and this is true, we have moles in teachers groups. We pay money to teachers who are willing to expose others who threaten children and parents. What's the matter with that? Because if we had that maybe 10 years ago, maybe we could have saved some children. I cannot even tell you the pushback we've gotten. People are outraged and people are pissed off that we're going to pay teachers for information. Let me ask you this. Since when are teachers getting pissed off about being paid? I thought they all wanted to be paid. What's the problem? And then these a-holes, again, children have suffered immensely, and the school district right now presently is trying to get out of going to court and paying these children and families what they deserve. This is like the satanic panic, stranger danger. I mean, can you believe this? And moral fake panics of the past. These wing nuts fade into the background again soon enough. Guess what? We ain't going any damn where. Thank you very much. Sadly, they will be demoralize an entire generation of teachers permanently, and permanently scarred children. You know what permanently scars children? Child rape, child abuse, the kind that happened in New Hanover County, just where that person was writing from. Obviously, these people do not care about children. They do not give a tinker's damn about children. So just so you know, just kind of making the point again. These are mugshots over the past 2 years. They're not all even. They're just ones that I could get very quickly of teachers who are arrested for sexually abusing at least one child. Many of them did multiple children. These are the mugshots you're looking at. Can you tell who looks like a child groomer? Because I sure as hell can't. Right? And I will bet you a lot of parents wish that they had been a lot more involved and a lot more attuned to what was going on in the school. And I bet you if they were here right now, they would tell us the same thing. I'm willing to bet. Let me show you the second page again, or the second page of this. Yes, there's a second page. And again, it's not even all of them. Okay. So you can see it's black, white, men, women, young and old. You cannot tell. The only way that you're going to be able to tell is if you're involved, right? So I swear to you, yes, Jenny, these were all in North Carolina. This is over the past 2 years. And you got to think about that, because this year we've been in school. The last year, we're hardly in school, right? So it's a very good chance that a lot of these were this year even, okay? So if teachers are getting pissed off, and the union teachers are, again, hold on, let me put up this banner. Here's the professions of people that are getting pissed off. Yes, orgy coordinator is actually a job. I know, I didn't realize that. I mean, who knew, right? Who knew? So yeah, so that's a real thing. And these are folks that are getting mad. And, can you kind of see maybe why? These aren't the kind of folks that, we come across very much. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over, okay, here we go. Judy, the trashing of those who disagree with by accusing them of pedophilia is a fascist tactic. Okay, so let's put this here. So Judy thinks that people accusing people of pedophilia. Okay, these folks, right? They've been arrested for that, and so I've never accused anyone of being a pedophile. I have said grooming for sure, because grooming is what a minority of teachers do. Obviously, we can see that, right? It's what a minority of teachers do. Judy wants us to read the article. Nah, you know what? It's from NBC. Judy, I don't think so. How about we bounce you and thank you for playing? How about that? Okay. How about that? And oh, by the way, if you think that we're going to let a bunch of trolls get us off of our mission of saving children, you don't know us very well, but you need to get to know us, because we're not going anywhere. So let's look at this. We're going to look at the professional code of standard for all teachers. Again, most teachers follow this. We don't have any problem. We have about 30% of our coalition actually are teachers. So how do I know that most teachers aren't like this? Because, well, they're with us. Well, they're with us. So let's go over this, because I have to tell you, I haven't come across this until recently. So when you look at this document, let me read this to you. The Educator exemplifies commitment to the teaching and learning process with accountability to the students. Okay. Maintain professional growth, professional judgment, personifies integrity. The Educator strives to maintain the respect and confidence of colleagues, students, parents, and legal guardians, and the community to serve as an appropriate role model. Doxing probably doesn't fit the bill. Threatening to kick off a parent group from Facebook because you don't agree with them, because they're bringing up that grooming children is immoral, that's probably not an example of integrity, right? So there's an example right there of just the intro where they kind of fail on that, correct? Yeah. So let's keep going. So when we look at the commitment to the student, let's check this out. To uphold these commitments, the educator should protect the students from conditions within the educator's control that circumvent learning or are detrimental to the health and safety of children. So let's say that you find out that your child is Bobby during the day at school and Sally at home, and it's been kept a secret. Well, I mean, at least one teacher or maybe several teachers from this particular school are participating in keeping this a secret, and maybe that would violate number 1A. Number 2, appropriate relationship with students in all settings. Again, you have got to have oversight. We are the parents. We are the oversight. Change is coming, and they know it. Change is coming. And by the way, 90% of all teachers, more than that, they would love for parents to be more involved. Are you kidding me? They would love for parents to come in and read to the kids or give them some time off during a break or lunch or whatever, so that they can go do something, and the parents can, of course, the parents have to be vetted too, but the parents would be involved. Are you kidding me? Most teachers don't care about this. And by the way, that's why the teachers who are raising the biggest stink, well, guess what? We're doing background checks. You know why? If we've got a bunch of teachers that, and this is a true story, are spending their school day when they're supposed to be teaching children, they're spending their school day raising hell with us on Facebook, objecting to us having transparency and having a parental role, yeah, that raises a red flag, and they need to be looked into, and we're doing just that. Okay, so discipline students fairly and doesn't deliberately harm or embarrass them. I mean, there may not be enough discipline, to be honest with you, in school, so I'm cool with that. I mean, you don't want to, do it for no reason, but hey. And And I'm going to tell you where to find this, guys. So don't worry about that. You'll know where to find it. So let's look at this one. Acknowledges the diverse views of students, parents, and legal guardians and colleagues as they work collaboratively to shape educational goals, policies, decisions. You know what? And don't proselytize for personal viewpoints that are outside the scope of professional practice. Let me ask you this. Has that happened with you guys? Sure, it has. We hear it all the time. Well, guess what? Then section 2, letter B, you need to file a complaint. I'm going to tell you how it's done, how we're going to do it, because you're not going to be alone in doing this. We're going to help you out, right? We're going to help you out. It's okay to be a Joe Biden fan, but heaven help you if your parents voted for Trump, right? Okay. Respect. It's common decency. And here's a funny thing. On our Facebook page over the past 5 days, I've had to put teachers in timeout, and I warn them, if you cannot be civil, you will be put in timeout. And I've done it with 20 different teachers. The first thing they do, call you bigot, racist, all this stuff, they're going to have to sit in timeout, right? These teachers are not acting civil in the public square when the door's closed with no transparency. How are they acting then? Most are great, some are not. Okay. Commitment to the profession. You need to take action to remedy an observed violation of the Code of Ethics for North Carolina educators and promote the understanding of the principles of professional ethics. It probably doesn't promote the understanding of professional ethics when you talk about doxing teachers. I'm just going out on a limb. Okay? Probably not. All right? And then, moreover, once something is brought to your attention, okay, you need to correct it. You try acting like an ass and have a professional job. By the way, try working at Bank of America on any level and try get caught talking like that, just openly talking like that, and see how quickly you get fired. But these teachers who are trusted with our children, our precious children, they're allowed to talk like this and they expect to earn the public's trust? Hell no. Okay. This one, ding, 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 very important. And this is election season, right? We know the union thug teachers are going to try to do everything they can. I've run campaigns before, I know it. They're coming out. Personal conduct. The educator shall serve as a positive role model for students, parents, and the community. Because the educator is entrusted with the care and education of small children and adolescents, the educator shall demonstrate a high standard of personal character and conduct. Elections are coming, and let me tell you something. Some of these teachers will absolutely, they will go all out, okay, to call you everything but what you are on your Facebook page, etc., in the public square. Immediately, that is a violation of this right here. And every single time it happens, it needs to be reported. That's the problem. We've been sitting here whining, saying, oh, there's nothing we can do. There is something that we can do, and we need to do it every single time that it happens, starting right now. Okay. I'll tell you where. Okay, here we go. The educator shall treat all students with respect. The educator should not commit any abusive act or sexual exploitation with, to, or in the presence of a student, whether or not that student has been under the care and supervision down below. Let me tell you something. When you out a gay child or a gay person before they are ready, that is abusive. That is harassment. These teachers, a lot of them actually, are trying to get children to talk about their sexuality more than likely before they're ready, more than likely in a public forum. That is inappropriate. Chastising a child because they don't know something about sex or they're uncomfortable, that is sexual abuse. It's happening. Do not think that it's not. It is happening. Okay. You just saw that post of Christy, who thinks it. By gum, It's the government's job to teach your children about sex. Trust me. Any act of child abuse as defined by law. Okay. I think that showing children hardcore porn, and in several instances we've had where children have had to, as young as 5th grade, read that aloud in class, that would probably constitute some form of child abuse. So would act of sexual harassment defined by law. If you're getting a child to read out loud from a book they're not comfortable reading from, probably would constitute that. So pay real close attention to this, okay? Here we go. Rights of others. The educator shall not willfully or maliciously violate the constitutional or civil rights of a student, parent, legal guardian, or colleague. Okay. So if these teachers are talking to parents like this, and I don't give a damn if it's in a private chat room or not, yeah, they have violated this. Okay. Okay, so we're done with that. All right. So now what to do. Here's what we do. Number 1, the first violation. Okay, first of all, I'm going to tell you where to find this. You're going to have this. You're going to have it for your reference. Instead of going in and saying, yeah, Mr. Brown did this, Mr. Brown did that, you want to be very specific. On this day, this rule was violated, and here's how. On this day, this was violated. Number 1, you want to tell the teacher as well as the principal at the same time. Teacher and principal at the same time. I recommend recording every single meeting. North Carolina is a single party consent state. That means you can record it without telling them. You need to do it. They will twist this on you. Trust me. You need to record it. And you need to make sure that you write it down. On April 22nd, I said this, etc. Okay, document it. Second time it happens, or if it was pretty egregious, yeah, you need to go to number 2. Number 2 will be leaving the teacher out of the loop, going to the principal, superintendent, and the school board at the same time. Okay. I warned about Mr. Brown on this date. Here's the phone. Here's the conversation that we had, and play the tape. Okay. And then, yeah, you'll just kind of go into, what they did, etc. What we talked about. All right. That's what you do. Now, there is a form, and I think I'm missing it. There is a form that I wanted to show you guys. Shoot. Okay. The form is, I don't think I have it. The form can be found at, let me see if I can find this. The State Board of Education. Okay, because let me explain to you what needs to happen, or what is going to happen. Education. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Okay, so the LEA is supposed to go right to the State Board of Education on your behalf. Okay, in other words, they're supposed to say, Miss Brown, complained about Mr. Brown, right? Who's a teacher. Okay, so just for sake of argument, now let me share this. Let me show you what this file we're looking for. Okay, good. All right. So, do you see this? Okay. So you'll see up here, to report to the State Board of Ed and the Department of Public Instruction, you need to give the factual statement. So what you're asking for on the second try is you're asking, let me see if I can make this bigger. Yeah, hold on. Okay. So you're asking your superintendent, you're asking your school board, you're asking your principal, did you get a chance to report this to the state board? Okay. You want to know, you want to put them on the spot. You want to make sure that they're doing that. Okay. So you want to ask them. And then you want to stay on them. You want to ask them every 2 days. Did you fill this out? Did you fill this out? Let's see if you can see it now. Okay. So you kind of got a feel for it, right? Okay. Yeah. And you want to ask them if they fill it out. So it's going to ask the LEA, et cetera. Then it's going to ask the school where the teacher was last employed. By the way, a lot of times teachers will get dismissed from one school district and not be required to tell that school district that they had an offense in another county. And when you see teachers going from county to county, when you're looking in their background, got to look for that. Got to look for that. We've gotten several of them where they've been in several different counties, and it's in a string in a row, like every 2 years. And looking into that. Okay, grade level. Was the teacher also a coach? Very important. Why do you think they ask this? Well, they ask it. Yeah, the reason they ask it is because if a lot of times coaches are alone with students, right? They've got more of an opportunity to do things. So that's why that's included. Contact person name, etc. They want to know everything that's happened. Why are you reporting this teacher? Okay. Engaged in conduct, school board policies, ethics. You want to make sure, okay, depending on how serious it is, you want to make sure that this is filled out. You'll see, provide information concerning the incident involving the teacher, and what policies with the standard of professional conduct had they violated. You see that? Okay, this is letter D, or number D. This is the reason that you want to make sure that you're doing the work for the school administration. You're already telling them, hey, they violated section 2A and then 3B and blah, blah, blah. So they already have it. You already know that. You're already giving them the information to fill this out. But again, the LEA has to do this. They have to do it. So you've got to make that report. Now, I will tell you this, one report they can dismiss. Okay? 100 is a totally different matter. They can't deny that, and it stays on the record. Let me show you what I mean. Okay? And by the way, if you don't create a record of what's going on, you're not doing your share of the work that needs to be done. And here's what I mean. We need to protect children, period. So if you've got a bad experience with a teacher and you keep your mouth shut, that doesn't serve anyone. That doesn't serve anyone at all, right? So let's say this particular post right here, okay? We want, because it's in the public realm, we want 100 people filing an ethics report from the community, 100 people. And we're developing a way to make that easier to do. We need 100, 200 reports on this guy. We need it on his record. Why? Well, what if he harms someone? What if he harms a child? Right? We cannot allow behavior like this to go on again, being unchecked. Behavior like this is everyone's problem, right? We cannot afford to dismiss this anymore, particularly because of all of the sex offenses. I mean, I'm just going out on a limb, and I may not have it right at all, but I wonder if any of these teachers showed any signs that they were going to harm students. Because if they did, and somebody didn't report them, I'll bet you that they feel quite remorseful right now. If the goal is saving students, then it's a collective goal and we have to do it. That means even if you have children in private school or homeschool and you see a teacher talking in public like that, you still have a duty to save children. That means you've got to report this, and you know how to do it now. So the form, let me see where the form is for you guys to report, because I'm going to link this and I want you to make sure that you have it. And if I know I have many activists in here right now that are actually leading coalitions of parents already. I want you to make a copy for everybody. I want you to make a hard copy and give it to them when you see them, and then email them this copy. You should have this at all times. Again, all teachers, no. Most teachers, no. Some teachers, you may need to have this, right? It's not, hey, look, it's better to, I guess I say it's better to not need it and have it than the other way around, right? All right. So I'm just going to put this in here. You want to Google it. It's NC Teacher Standards. Okay. And yeah. Also, a lot of teachers complain about the job, and I get it because there's a lot to complain about. I mean, students are unruly. I'm sure that you don't get backed up a lot, etc. But that is no need, no reason, no justification to take it out on children. And it's unfortunate, but there are, again, a minority of people who do that, but it does happen. Okay, so I'm going to put this right in the chat box. Let's see. Okay. If you have, so Ashley, where are you? Okay. So guys, if you see this in the chat box, look that up. Ashley, if you have an ongoing issue, do you fill out a new form every time? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Right? It needs to pile up. And Ashley, let's say that you're in a school and you have a coalition of 10 parents. 10 parents need to file it together at the same time. You don't actually have to see the behavior. You have to report it. One report, they can ignore. 10, they can't. 100, they damn sure can't. And you need to put pressure on not just have you done anything, have you reported it to the state board and the DPI? That's your question every single time. So yes, very good question. Okay. Let's see. Any more questions? This is where you get it. So look that up. There's the link right there. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, she's still an ISS, etc. Yeah, I mean, that's just negligence, right? And it's something that, yeah, I mean, you want to, some of these things, by the way, guys, you can talk to the teacher and it's an oversight. In fact, don't go, obviously we all know this, don't go expecting problems. I mean, most of the time things are innocent, right? Sometimes they're not. I know a lot of you guys who are on here now, you already do your own research on teachers beforehand. And I have to tell you, it makes sense. And all the teachers we know, they understand that. They understand what kind of world we're in, etc. How long can it stay on file for? Well, first of all, I think the hardest part, Ashley, making sure that it gets on file, right? And that's why we have to stay on them. We have to make sure that it's reported, etc. How long? That's an excellent question. And you know what's really pissing me off is that there's not a lot of transparency around this. I mean, we don't know. We need a clearer procedure. And I think that's one of the things we'll be lobbying for this year is what is the procedure to get rid of a school board candidate or person, because we don't have one in place, right? We don't have recalls. Let's rethink that. Let's rethink that, because once we elect people and they could be utterly full of, you know what, right? And saying everything to get our vote and then completely turn out to be weasels. How do we get rid of them? So we need more transparency as well. If they say no, if who says no? You mean if they say no, we're not going to take the support? I mean, you need to tell us and we'll blow it up, right? We need to get this information out there. We have got to get the information out there. We've got to share this. We absolutely do. Today, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school board finally took action because they were tired of children failing. That's the ultimate racism, when Black and brown students are failing, and you're doing nothing about it but upholding the superintendent. Tony, you're right. There needs to be oversight. Well, he was fired. So the second biggest school district fires their superintendent. It can be done. It can be done. Okay. Because it's working. And I got to tell you, that sent a shockwave all across the state, and in a good way, because we're taking our schools back. We're taking our schools back and it feels good. So I'm going to, over the next minute, tell you in Charlotte, make education great again. James Lindsay, by the way, do me a favor, look him up. He talks about grooming. He's brilliant. Talks about grooming and CRT in a way that's very meaningful. Max Eden, who wrote the best-selling book, Why Meadow Died, and he wrote it with Andrew Pollack, and talks about the discipline policies that are in Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system and in Wake County that lead up to mass shootings. Obviously, Mark Robinson, he's a known product. Dan Bishop, but it is an anti-grooming conference. And believe me when I tell you, this is for activists. It's going to rev everybody up. It's going to give us the exact information that we need to continue on taking care of this problem. Make sure you get tickets. We're running low on tickets. It's in Charlotte, April 30th. So it's a Saturday. 8:30 to 2:30. You can come and go as you please. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's fun. I mean, you know what? We need a coalition, man. We need it. It's fun together, right? It's terrible being alone. It's fun together. And when you're in our coalition, you will never walk alone. I may not always get back to you. Ashley, you know that. I've got my hair on fire most of the time, but somebody around here will. And I promise you, we're a lot stronger together. So I hope that this has been helpful for you tonight. Let me put up one more time where you can find this document. You got to have the document. And I bet you, because this happened to me, when I sat down and I started highlighting this stuff, I'm like, oh man, they weren't supposed to do that. And they're not supposed to be acting like that. And oh, because a lot of times if you show this to the teacher and the principal, you know, it kind of jogs their memory or what have you. And yeah, so you need to start reporting this. You need to start doing it a lot. We're going to have these workshops every single month. So tell your friends, okay? Tonight, I want you to tell 10 friends about what you just saw. 10 friends, okay? Just tell them, hey, listen, there's recourse. There's hope. Maybe we're not using all the recourse that we need. And I think that you'll find that if we're having problems with teachers from a parent perspective, the teachers are a problem inside the school. The colleagues don't like them, etc. So you're actually doing a public service for not only other children and your child, but teachers. They don't want to work with these people. If they're unpleasant people, that's going to show, right? That's going to show. So anyway, I want you guys to have a good night. Thank you for tuning in. How many people are you going to tell tonight? 10. 10. No fewer than 10. But you can do more than 10. All right. If you're staying around for the next broadcast at 8:30, Michelle's going to be on. She's going to be on fire. She was in that school board meeting where the NCAE teacher said whatever they said. And Nancy will be here. And thank you, Heather. Thank you. All right. So we're going to be on and we're going to talk about how are we tracking sex abuses in North Carolina? It's really important and we don't have all the answers we need, but we better get them and fast. All right. Okay. See you at 8:30.